It's time once again for your update from the city of New Hope as we bring you what's happening in the city of New Hope and also what is coming up. We're recording on November 4th. Welcome, Mayor. How are you today?
Well, I'm just fine. Thanks, Dave.
Tell me a little bit about the picture behind you. We need to understand where the mayor might be today, or at least the picture showing that you are.
The picture is showing. I went to Toronto with my high school girlfriends, and that's a picture of a house that we toured. But I just thought it was such a pretty picture with those big red flowers. No idea what the flowers were, but they're red.
Gets us thinking a little bit of springtime here as it gets a little cooler out here in Minnesota. Let's look ahead at some things coming up in the city. And the first is a note about a day city offices will be closed. Tell us about that date.
Well, Veterans Day is coming on the 11th of November, and so that's a national holiday. The city offices will be closed on that day. However, if you have an emergency, you can always call the police department and they will get somebody because we do have staff on hand on call. So you can always get somebody if you have to on that day.
And as I mentioned at the beginning, we're recording this on November 4th, which means tomorrow is election day. So for those watching early, we've got a little more election pre-information for you. Again, Mayor, what do we need to know as we're one day away from the election?
Well, on election day, you cannot go to City Hall to vote unless that is your polling place, and it is the polling place for some. So the polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., and you have a website showing. You can go onto that website if you don't remember where you're supposed to vote. Always check. It'd be wise to bring an ID with you. I'm not sure that's required or not, but it's always wise to bring that. If you have an absentee ballot that you did not send in, it's too late to do that. So go to your polling place, bring that absentee ballot. You can either turn that in and get another ballot or just put that ballot into the ballot box. So do get out and vote. Tomorrow's the day. There's also a website now that's on the screen that'll tell you where to get the results. So just keep in mind that there's two sides of the ballot. Be sure you vote on both sides. In New Hope, there's two people running for the mayor's job because I'm not running, and there's three people running for our city council job. So in the city council, you can vote for two of them. So do get out and vote. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. I shouldn't do that, but it's just important that to vote.
And information also on the election on ccxmedia.org. And we plan on interviewing some of the new mayors that will be representing various cities here in the Northwest area. A lot going on with Election Day. Continuing on and what's happening in New Hope, let's talk about that property where we had the burn of the house recently on purpose because it is turning into a park space again. Update us on 3840 Oregon.
Well, I said I would let you know when that was going to happen, but it rained on the 24th of October and we did our happy dance because we knew then we'd be able to burn on the 26th. So that was the completion of the firefighters training with that live burn. It was just amazing to watch those firefighters and how very professional they are. Everybody knew where they were supposed to be. So now if you happen to drive by, there's a big pile of rubble there. And that rubble has to sit for a couple of weeks just to make sure there's no sparks, nothing's hot. And then they'll do a toxicity report on that because if there's any toxic stuff in the remains, in the debris, it has to go to a special place. So they'll do that report, and if it has to be separated, they'll do that. But then after a couple of weeks of sitting there, probably mid to latter part of November, they'll haul that away.
Let's continue on with community development items. Next item is the Planning Commission, and they have some applications that are coming up to be discussed. Tell us about the few businesses that are looking to come to town.
Well, it's 7342nd. They're applying for an adult daycare license. I'm not really sure what that is exactly, but I think that's where the old funeral home was. And the other one on 31st and Louisiana, they're looking to do some outdoor storage there. And of course, there's rules that go with that. That's why they go to the Planning Commission first to make sure that the people applying know what the rules are and they comply with the rules before any of that comes to the city council.
Very good. All right, moving on. Scattered site housing update. A lot of houses, as we've been telling you, in the works here. First on the 4200 block of Nevada. Tell us about those couple lots there. They are really moving ahead rather quickly.
They are. That's the house we just bought at 4220. So now there's a new address at 4220 and 4222. They're going to split that. So with that split, of course, they have to put in a new water line, a new electric line. They have to do some curbing and stuff like that. That's been demolished. That stuff has all been done. The lines have been done, and now they're thinking that they're going to start real soon on that. We've gone to Hennepin County to get the addresses registered. One of the things people should know that when you put a house up, you pay a dedication fee to the park system. Well, since that second lot, the 4220, is actually our lot until we sell it, we have to pay the $3,000 park dedication fee. So we just put $3,000 into that from the EDA. Money gets transferred around, but we have to play by the same rules as everybody else does.
Makes sense. Yeah, a lot of process behind the scenes there. Next property is 5410 Zealand. And again, demo happening here very soon.
Well, that one, staff is preparing the house. We bought the house and we're now going to demo that or demolish that, and that'll probably take place in the spring.
Okay.
What's happening now is the forester is coming out and he'll look at the trees that are on that lot to see if there's any that we can save or what has to come down.
Up to the 5400 block of Virginia, a few properties there on that street. And again, this is in the closing process on just the lots, I understand.
Just the lots, two of them. One's going to Donegg Homes, the other one's going to Exceptional Homes and Rehab, and those two will close on the 22nd of November.
Over to 50th we go, 7901, and then also one up on 8024 50th. Tell us about the process there of how those houses are moving along.
So the 7901, that's the one right on the corner of 50th and Winnetka. We sold the internal one, and somebody's actually living in that one now. Well, this second one has been the one right on the corner. The purchase order has been signed, and they're planning to close on that sometime the end of November. You'll see people still in the house doing some work. They're just doing some touches on the inside. What'll happen after it's sold, a lot of times the buyers come in and they'll want something different done. And so you'll see people in the house, but the house has been sold. They usually sell before they even start building them.
It's just amazing. And the other is 8024 50th. And you have Great Buy Homes as a partner on this property.
We did. That one's going to close on the 1st of November.
Okay.
So now the building permits have all been, they're going to start that one, they think probably sometime in early November. So that house will get started. What they want to do is get the outside done as much as they can and seal it up so they can move inside and get that stuff done. So it'll look like it's just sitting there, but once they get it sealed up, they can be inside. They'll do things like getting the siding on and the finish on the roofing and things like that, but they'll be able to at least get inside if they can for the winter.
As you know, community development also involved in the business networking group to keep businesses in the community connected. They've got an event coming up. And again, if you're watching this early, you can still maybe get in on this. If not, we've got an opportunity maybe down the road for you. What is the event coming up this week?
It's November 6th. That's Wednesday. It's at 2:00. And it'll be at Can Do Canines. This one should be really fun. I'm sure we'll get a tour of the place like we always do from whoever sponsors that. If you miss that, the next one is December 4th at 8:30, and that's going to be at Near Food Group. Near did some really nice renovation inside. They want to show off what they've done. So put those dates on your calendar because it's really, you don't have to be a business owner. You can just be interested and be there. It doesn't cost anything to come, and there's usually donuts.
And again, more information about those events and everything else we're talking about on the city's website, which is newhopemm.gov. Let's go to the police department. A lot of activity here, both within meetings and conferences, but also on the streets as well. Let's start with the meetings and conferences. Where have police staff been in the recent week?
Well, my police chief brings somebody else with him, either one of the captains or somebody from the staff. So they did an emergency management training, and then they had the Tri-City Community Forum in Crystal where the 3 police chiefs were there to answer questions. Very well attended. Of course, a lot of the police were involved with the trunk or treat on city days. But the other thing I want to mention is from October 24th to the 30th, there were 367 police-related incidents. Now, they could be traffic stops. They could be something bigger than that. But that means there's more than 50 a day
Mhm.
That my police officers are really, really busy and they're out on the street all the time.
That is a large number. Another busy department in the city is Public Works. We're going to talk more about their big ribbon cutting in just a second. But first, some of the just day-to-day work that they do. I understand we've got some activities around signage, also water shutoffs, winterization of things, and also something to do with gas lines. They do everything, don't they?
They do all that stuff that we don't want to do.
Yep.
These guys are doing that. So when we tear these houses down, of course, they have to shut off the water and the electricity and the gas lines. So that all has to be removed. And then when they do that, they have to remove the meters too. So they're busy doing that. So they work very closely with community development to know when this stuff has to be done. They're doing some seasonal changeovers, which means they're bringing this new building that we built. They can bring all their lawn mowing equipment inside, and they've got those big snowplow trucks inside. So everything gets to be inside, and now they're starting to clean it up, getting it sharpened, getting it ready for the next season, putting it to bed for the last season. So they are busy. We have a generator at City Hall, and they service that generator for us. They did a gas line installation at the North Tower. So that was pretty exciting. So I've got some fun facts about Public Works, but I'm going to wait till the end to tell you those.
Very good. And they were busy as well last week with a ribbon cutting. Here's some video of the event as the mayor and others from the council were involved in this. Tell us a little bit about, again, this grand event and also all of the work up to this event.
Well, the Public Works is so busy. They don't have time for all this other stuff. And we promised 10 years ago that we would not bond for 10 years. Well, this was like 4 years ago, I guess, for 10 years. And we knew we needed a Public Works building. So we had started to save money. We did not bond for this project. We just built it out of money that we saved. It's huge, this building. And it has to be huge because we wanted to put in as much equipment inside as we could. It's really easier on the equipment, but where the real key comes is when it's 10 below and they have to plow, and the plow's outside, they have to go clean off the plow, warm it up, do all this other stuff. It takes 45 minutes to an hour before they even get on the street. So this way, all that stuff is inside. So we did this big ribbon cutting, which was very well attended. And of course, all the Public Works guys were there eating donuts and drinking coffee and telling us all the stuff they do. It's just amazing, the stuff they do. So we're really pleased to have done this for Public Works.
It is an amazing facility. If people have a chance, stop by and take a look at it. Let's hop over to Park and Rec. A lot happening here as the seasons change. And one of the things that's in sign-up mode right now is dance. And there's a unique element in the dance that maybe you don't know about. What is that, Mayor?
Well, our dance program is huge. And so sign up started today on Monday the 4th. So you can go in and sign up now. We let the kids coming back sign up first, and then we have the general public sign up. Well, the other thing you can sign up for is the dancer parent dance. Now, I've gone to a lot of these recitals, and a few years ago, there would be a half a dozen dads and daughters on the stage dancing. Now the stage is full. So it can be a daddy-daughter dance. It can be a mom-daughter, mom-son dance, a parent and a dancer. And they apparently have to sign up too because they get to go to classes every week. So they're ready for this recital come Mother's Day.
They think of everything, don't they? And we've been talking a lot about this brochure over the past months, and this one's about ready to be retired because the new one is almost ready to come out. And this has so much valuable information in it.
It does. We'll keep that one until you get the next one. Okay. So this will be the winter spring. Isn't that nice to say? Winter spring. And here it is early November and it's just barely snowed. So that should be in your mailboxes. You should be getting it in the next day or two.
Let's talk a little bit about something that is even summertime getting us thinking further out, and that's some of the concerts in the park and some of the things that happen at the entertainment center. And again, you're looking for people to not only perform, but also to sponsor. Tell us how that works.
Well, we have music in the park and movies in the park, and they, unbeknownst to me, with the movies, you can't just go to the video store and rent a movie. You actually have to pay for that. And of course, with the music in the park, you pay the musicians. So we're always looking for sponsors to do that because we want these to be free to the public. So if you want to sponsor that, a business or a private person, you can. You call a Park and Rec department. If you don't want to sponsor the whole thing, but just maybe share that with somebody else, you don't have to find the somebody else. We'll find the somebody else
Mhm.
for you. So you can sponsor just a portion of it, or if you just want to give some money toward one of these performances, that works too. So anyway, Park and Rec will take your money anytime.
Fantastic. Let's talk about the city forester, busy out there, and one particular area with a lot of focus on Boone Avenue. Tell us what might be happening there.
Well, those ash trees that are on the boulevard are ours, I mean, the city's. And so he's coordinating the removal of those trees on Boone. That becomes more difficult than just taking one here and one there, is because these big trucks will be on Boone, and Boone is such a busy road that it takes a lot of coordination to do that. At the same time, he's identified trees that need to come down on the boulevard that haven't been taken down yet. So he's coordinating that too. We're hoping to get these all down yet in November.
Last in Park and Rec, a couple looks at the facilities around town, and the first is the golf course, which had a little snow in it, as we all did in the area recently, but that has not stopped people, Mayor.
Golfers are kind of nutty.
Right, true.
It snowed a lot and everything was white. And then the next day it started to melt, and my gosh, there were golfers out there again. So I asked the golf course, so when can we golf and when can't we? And they said, if there's frost on the greens, they won't let anybody out. But very often that frost will melt off like 10, 11 o'clock, and you're back out there. So as long as there's no frost or snow, you can continue to golf. Now on Tuesday, that would be the 5th, election day, the golf course will be closed because they're going to aerate the greens, and then they top dress that by putting sand and stuff down. So on Tuesday, the golf course is closed, but it'll be lovely on Wednesday. It'll be full again, I'm sure.
I think you might be right. And if you noticed a little bit of international flavor in the city this past weekend, there was good reason for that. It ties to the ice arena. What was happening?
Well, this is our Elite International Invitational Tournament. And so I believe there's either 8 or 10 teams that play in this. They come from all over the world. And of course, they come with mom and dad, who also shop at our stores, go to our grocery store, eat in our restaurant. So it's really a big boost. These kids win or lose these games, and then before they play again, of course, they're teenagers. They have to go eat. And so they eat in one of our restaurants. So it was a really busy time at the arena Saturday and Sunday this last weekend.
And lots of other activities as well. From a local standpoint, a lot of teams getting ready for their season. So stop by. That is a busy place. Final note is the aquatic park. Some final end of the season work happening. What's going on behind the scenes?
Well, they have to winterize the pipes at the bathhouse. Who knew? I guess if you think about that, it makes sense. So they're just about done with that. I did ask them about the shed, if they built it themselves, and they said a lot of that was built by staff of the pool and our public works guys. So that extra shed that they put up is there. So once that closes, I did bump into the guy that runs that, and I said, so what do you do now for the rest of the year? And he said, oh, I go to the ice arena and work there, or I go to the golf course and help them get things shut down there. So we try to keep all our employees busy all year, so we don't have part-time employees, that we have full-time directors of these facilities.
Very good. Speaking of employees, let's go to HR. One quick note to pass along here, as you have some interviews going underway. Which position would these be for?
Well, we have a personnel board who that talks to people that have applied for jobs, and they certify them whether they're qualified or not. So we had 6 people that have qualified for our SRO, and 5 of those 6 will be interviewed by our city manager this week sometime.
Coming up in just a few minutes, we'll have our weekly calendar of events of some things that are coming up, but here's a quick preview of one that is coming up and will be on that calendar. That's the Coffee and Conversation. Again, remind us what that is and where we need to go this week.
Well, first of all, it's November 6th from 8 to 9:30, and it'll be at Papa's Cafe on 42nd. And basically, the city manager will be there. I'll probably be there, maybe some of my council members. This is a good time to come in and just talk about the city. What would you like to see changed? What bothers you? What do you like about it? What are we doing right? This is just a really nice one-on-one time to talk to them. So again, that's at Papa's Cafe on the 6th of November from 8 to 9:30. just basically come in, have a cup of coffee with us, and just chat about whatever you want to chat about.
Sounds great. A big part of these updates is keeping you up to date on maybe things that happen in the city and then maybe go away for a while, but then come back. And one is the City Services Survey. Let's talk a little bit about, again, what that is and how people participated. And now you're almost through the whole process. Is that correct?
So we got all of them back, and anybody that put their name and a phone number that wanted a call back, those callbacks have all been taken care of now. What happens typically is our communications director takes those and she gives them to the various departments to call them back. And then they report back to her, let them know that they made their call back. So now the next thing that she's doing is aggregating all the numbers so we can tell you things like this is the percentage of people that are happy with what we're doing. This is the percentage of people that aren't happy with whatever the topic was. So they're getting those already. Now, the other thing is the photo contest. That, of course, closed the end of October.
Right.
So now what they're doing is getting all those arranged so the judges can vote on them. And then also they'll have them ready for us to look at sometime early November for the People's Choice Award. So you can go online and vote on the People's Choice Award, or you can go into City Hall and view them. I quite frankly like to go into City Hall because the screen is bigger and look at all the pictures. So I sit there for 5-6 minutes and look at the pictures and then vote for my favorites.
And they are amazing. I agree with that. All right, in our final minute here, let's go back to Public Works and talk about some facts, some numbers that you might not know, but I think they will amaze you. Mayor, help us on some facts about Public Works in the city.
Okay, I'm going to have to read this, so excuse me with that.
Yeah.
So we have 64.8 miles of streets. That means when it snows, we have 64.8 miles to plow. That's a lot of miles. You can go to Red Wing in that time almost. So they're busy doing that. We have 26 miles of sidewalk. And so when I tell people that we don't plow the sidewalks until the streets are plowed, that's why sometimes the sidewalks don't get plowed for the next day or two. And not all the sidewalks necessarily get plowed. If you have a sidewalk in front of your business, you need to plow that yourself, or in front of your house for that matter. So we have 739 fire hydrants. So with that, if you have a fire hydrant in front of your house, you can adopt that fire hydrant, which means if it snows, you're going to clear the snow away from that fire hydrant. So in the event of a fire, the fire truck can come and hook up to that hydrant right away. If you don't clear that snow, they have to do that, and it takes longer. And when you've got a house that's on fire, you really want to get that water on that fire as soon as you can. So you could call West Metro Fire and Rescue District. And if you don't know that number, you can call City Hall and they'll give that to you.
Okay.
You can call them and tell them you want to adopt a fire hydrant. Last year, I know they were once a week, I believe, or once a month, maybe once a week. They were pulling names out to give them a gift card if they had adopted a fire hydrant. So it's just a small little thank you for doing that. We really do appreciate when people do that. The last thing is we have 98 street lights that the Public Work has to take care of. Now, I know that this city has more than 98 streetlights. However, a lot of those are county roads. If you see a streetlight that's out, call City Hall, tell them where it is. They know whether it's one of ours or one of the counties, and they'll know who to call. I have no idea who to call. When I see a streetlight out, I call City Hall, and they know who to call. So, but do let us know if there's a streetlight in your neighborhood or on one of your streets that's out that you need to have fixed.
Very good. And again, newhopemn.gov, again, the website to the city. So if you want to check out about that fire department and the fire hydrants, and also, again, about those street lights, you can get all of that information there. And Mayor, you have one final note of a way the city is supporting the schools, and this is the marching band is going to be taking quite an awesome trip coming up.
I was so excited. I got invited to an indoor marching band concert last Saturday, put on by Cooper High School. They are just amazing, these young people. So they have been invited to march down Constitutional Avenue on the 4th of July parade in Washington, D.C. And of course, they're doing fundraisers to do that. So as I hear of these fundraisers going on this winter and in the spring, I'll let you know, because I think we need to support them as much as we can. It costs a lot of money to take those kids out there. And I know the kids are working on that. The parents are helping with that. But it's really a big deal for those kids to be able to go to D.C. and march down Constitution Avenue.
That's right. I bet they're very excited. So support them if you can. Well, Mayor, thanks again for spending some time with us and for the update of what's happening in the city of New Hope. And again, stick with us. Calendar of events in just a second. Mayor, have a great week. We'll talk to you again next week.
Thanks, Dave. It should be just gorgeous this week.
Mhm. For more city stories, check out ccxmedia.org or find us on social media.